Hi, everybody. Welcome inside the Waterloo Memorial Recreation Complex. Game 2 here of this Friday slate of action in the U13 AAA All-Ontario Championships as the North Bay Trappers get set to face off with the Toronto Marlboros. One undefeated team remaining in this tournament. It is Toronto. North Bay trying to find the win column here this afternoon as we welcome you up now to the broadcast booth. My name is Dylan Baker. So good to be with you once again. We had a good game earlier today between Kenora and Quinte, and now it's Toronto and North Bay. As mentioned, the Marlboros are the only team that is undefeated here this weekend, the only undefeated team remaining, sitting at 3-0. They took down Waterloo by a score of 2-0 in their lone game action yesterday. That off a tournament opening win by a score of 4-1 against Quinte, and then a 4-1 victory against Kenora as well to follow that up. So it's been a steady dose of offense for the Marlboros in this tournament, but their real strong suit has been the defending. They've only allowed 2 goals all weekend long so far. Xavier Zito had a 24-save shutout in the victory over the Wolves yesterday. For the North Bay Trappers, they've had 2 late-game comebacks. One tied the game yesterday against Kenora. One fell short earlier in the tournament. We will send it down to ice level now for the national anthem prior to puck drop in this one. Anthem complete. We are ready for hockey here at the Waterloo Memorial Rec Complex as the Toronto Marlboros and North Bay Trappers get set to face off here on this Friday afternoon. So glad to be with you here for this contest. As mentioned, Toronto 3-0 on the tournament. They beat Quinte 4-1, beat Kenora 4-1, beat Waterloo 2-0. North Bay fell by a score of 4-3 to Ottawa in their first game of the tournament, then fell 7-4 to Huron-Perth yesterday morning before tying Kenora 5-5 yesterday afternoon. This North Bay team, 2 late game comebacks in this championship weekend. One against Ottawa on Wednesday. They tried to come back late in that contest after falling behind early. Wasn't quite enough to get the victory or to tie the game. They did successfully come back against Kenora, getting a late goal to walk away with the tie. Tyler Vonderkroon, Campbell Stickland, the goaltenders for this game. We're all set and underway here in Waterloo. Marlboros control off the face-off. Brett DeMello will play it through center. It's deflected down the ice by Jonathan Beauclair. And now back on it is Nash McDonald in behind the North Bay net. McDonald a pass for Ali Hébert. Hébert trying to force it through. Now comes to Reed Robichaud. Robichaud gets over the blue line but can't maintain possession of the puck as the Marlboros will play it through center. Beauclair looking for it. Carter in there for North Bay. Beauclair comes away with possession. Beauclair fires it down the ice. Out of the crease is Stickland watching it slide by. Now back around the wall, McDonald comes back to Kine Lee. Lee sends a pass to Jackson Ross. Ross over the blue line. Feed towards the middle of the ice for Jackson Gardner. Gardner drops it back for Ross. Ross in the middle of the goal line with possession here for Toronto. Ross sends a pass near side. Looking for it there was Rafael Fada. Now the puck comes out to center. Antonio Marchese. Marchese, a pass into open space in neutral ice. It'll be picked up there by Aubrey Alkins. Now the Marlboros play it back the other way. Marchese's over the blue line. Marchese holding, plays it out front, pass deflected and turned away by Stickland on the chance down low. Looking for it there was Jack Drouin. Now it'll come back to Wolf White. White off the boards out to center. Aubrey Alkins looking for possession. Comes back now to Rafael Fata. Fata fighting to maintain possession of the puck. Gets it down to Andrew Zetas. Zetas through center. Zetas over the red line. Now went over the blue. Zetas drop past D'Agostini. Luca D'Agostini up to the blue line. Sadik a shot. That one just misses the net wide. In the corner. Back after it, Rafael Fata. Fata's got 2 goals in this championship. Puck gets played by Alkins off the wall. Not quite out to center. D'Agostini comes in. Loses possession of it, and Kai Hill will send it out to center. Puck gets knocked down and neutral ice. Samek plays it ahead to D'Agostini. D'Agostini can't get over the blue line cleanly. Miner back on it. Nathan Miner sends it past to Jonathan Beauclair. Beauclair, a feed now into the North Bay end, and back forward is Parker Bray. Beauclair looking for possession here for Toronto. Jackson Gardner in there as well. Comes in below the goal line. Kai Hill slaps it around the wall at the line. Sammy Gracie takes a shot, tipped on goal. Save made there by Stickland, and he will hold on. Couple of good stops from Campbell Stickland. Stickland, one of the most used goaltenders in this tournament. Started games 1 and 2 and then came in relief in game 3. Allowed 3 goals in that third game, stopped 32 of 39 against Huron Perth in North Bay's second game of the weekend, and 19 of 23 against Ottawa in their championship opener. Off the face-off, Beauclair has possession for Toronto, takes the shot, tipped on goal, saved by Stickland. Rebound loose, and North Bay looks to clear. Hebert through center. Hebert over the red line. Hebert a pass the direction of Carter, just stayed onside but couldn't quite catch up to the pass. Marlboros looking to clear the zone here. Bouncing puck, Hebert tries to knock it down. On the near side after it, Nathan Miner. Miner drops it back down low, Sammy Gracie. Gracie loses possession, Hebert is there. Hebert, bouncing puck. Now Robichaud, a shot just missed the net. Reed Robichaud had a hat trick yesterday in the tie against Kenora and has goals in each of North Bay's games so far this weekend. Gracie in his own zone, drops it back for DeMello. DeMello in behind the Toronto net. DeMello sends it pass to D'Agostini. D'Agostini over the blue line. D'Agostini into the corner. D'Agostini stops up, peels back. Alkins up to the line, held there by Zetas. Zetas goes into the corner. Alkins applying pressure. Now comes back to McDonald. Nash McDonald in his own zone has it for North Bay. McDonald off the wall, can't get it out. D'Agostini knocks it down. Comes back to Wolf White. White from his own end pass that hits a skate. Was D'Agostini that got bumped by it. Now Zetas is on it for Toronto. Zetas around the North Bay net, wraparound try, pad saves Stickland, and the Trapper is able to clear the zone. Back after it is DeMello. Brett DeMello sweeps it through center. After it goes Zetas. Does it have enough for icing? Yes, it does, which will give us a chance to thank our partners for supporting today's event. A special recognition goes to Milk, a proud partner of the U13 AAA All-Ontario Championships. Dairy Farmers of Ontario are proud to support young athletes and encourage healthy, active lifestyles. Draw will go to the left here of Tyler Vonderkroon, the Toronto netminder. Vonderkroon allowed 1 goal in their victory over Kenora in Game 2 of round-robin play. For the Marlboros, that is. Beauclair gets it up the wall for Fata. Fata will play it in deep. Trappers with possession, it's Bray. Bray sending a pass to Hudson Olahan. Olahan, the youngest son of North Bay Battalion head coach Ryan Olahan, former NHLer as well. Samek holds the line. Samek working in, takes a shot, blocked in traffic, comes back to Clugston now. Clugston tries to clear, can't do it. Fata off the boards, finds Beauclair. Beauclair centering feed, one-timer just missed the net. Good chance there for the Marlboros. Was D'Agostini parked out front, he couldn't bury it. Now back the other way, here come the Trappers over the blue line. Quick shot glove there by Tyler Vonderkroon, and he will hold on. Good stop there by Vonderkroon, the right catching Toronto netminder. Not all that often that you see a goaltender catch with the right hand. Vonderkroon, one of the exceptions who does. The blocker on his left hand. Face off to his left now on the blocker side. And sometimes just having that difference can kind of mess with the shooters as they come down the wall. Drouin works it into the corner. Drouin centering pass looking for Hebert. Comes back to McDonald. McDonald looking for Drouin with the feed. Misfires. Back on it there is Nathan Miner. Miner off the boards. It's played through center by Evan Andrews. Andrews in the direction of D'Agostini. Cut off by the Trappers. Robichaud sends it past to Drouin. Drouin from his own zone. Feed to McDonald now for Carter. Carter through center for Hebert. Ali Hebert over the blue line. Hebert holding, shooting, just put it high. Great chance for Hebert there, but missed the net. Comes back to McDonald. McDonald's over the blue line. Trappers changing. McDonald has to rim it and wait for reinforcements to come in. Miner plays it off the boards, trying to force it out to neutral ice. It'll be slapped back in deep there by Ogletree. Aubrey Alkins after it. Alkins in the corner. Sweeps it off the wall. Looking for it, Blanchard. Blanchard takes a shot. Gets blocked. Now comes back to Wolf White. White into the corner. Tie up. Miner in there. Miner looking for it. Poked up to White. White looking for an option. It'll be picked back up by Jonathan Beauclair. Beauclair through center. Beauclair over the blue line. Beauclair throws it towards the goal. Zettis a deflection. Turned away by Stickland. Trappers trying to clear. White. Pass for Marson. Now Blanchard down the ice. After it goes Ross. Ross in the corner has possession for Toronto. Ross fed up to Zettis. Zettis looking for it. Swung back in deep by Owen Marson. Brett DeMello. DeMello sweeps it around the wall to Jackson Ross. Ross to Beauclair. Beauclair from his own zone. Cross ice feed DeMello. DeMello circles back. Gets it onto the stick now of Jackson Ross again. Ross through center for Beauclair. Drop pass misfires. Trappers out to center. Marson's got it over the red line. Marson backhands it along the wall down the ice, and back for it is Jackson Ross below the goal line. Ross for Brett DeMello. DeMello through center. Chen. Correction, that's Lee. There's two number 8s listed on the roster for Toronto as Lee cuts towards the net and gets denied there by Campbell Stickland. Lee back with it. Kyle Lee shoots, scores! Lee wires it home to open the scoring for Toronto. And the Marlboros lead 1-0 here, 7:24 to go in the first period. For Kyle Lee, that's goal number 3 on the tournament. 2 goals in their tournament opener against Quinte, and a goal here this afternoon against North Bay. So at the 7:36 mark of the first period, Kyle Lee with his 3rd goal, and the Marlboros are up 1-0. Nice shot from Lee from the right circle. Beats the North Bay netminder glove side. Campbell Stickland, that is. Back in, here come the Trappers. Hebert takes a shot, rides off his stick. Goes up and over the glass out of play. Mentioned the uniqueness of Vonderkroon catching left-handed, but Campbell Stickland does as well. Puck goes out of play there, and this puck stoppage is brought to you by Barron Rings, the official championship ring provider of the U13 AAA All-Ontario Championships. Barron Rings proudly celebrates the achievements of athletes by creating lasting symbols of success and excellence. Brett DeMello has it down below the goal line, and now the pass comes through center. Here comes D'Agostini into the corner. Drop pass, Samek. Samek back for D'Agostini. D'Agostini below the goal line. Now it's out of the stick of McDonald. McDonald goes up and over the glass out of play with that clearing attempt. So 1-0 Toronto, courtesy of Kyle Lee. Lee, 2 goals, 1 assist, 3 points coming into this game. Now 3 goals, 1 assist, 4 points as of right now. Some Northern Ontario representation for this Toronto squad. You're looking at one of them right there, and Rafael Fada was moved to Toronto to play for the Marlboros, or is playing for the Marlboros after moving to Toronto, I should say. Puck gets played down below the goal line. Beauclair, centering pass, one-timer, scores! Luke Samek at the right circle. One times it home, and the Marlboros are up 2-0. Nice setup by Toronto down behind the net, and Samek able to one-time it home to make it 2-0 Toronto in a hurry. At the 8:23 mark of the first period, Samek finds the back of the net, his first point of the tournament. And the Marlboros are off to a fast start on this one. Off the face-off, Ogletree tries to backhand it in deep. After it goes Kai Hill. Hill down below the goal line. Samek slaps it around the wall. Comes back now to Antonio Marchese. Marchese, a long feed for Fata. Rafael Fata, centering feed for Beauclair out front. Got cut off and covered up by Campbell Stickland. So a whistle here with just over 6 minutes to go in the first period. We'll try to get you where the assists lie on the first two Toronto goals here momentarily. Samek from Beauclair and Gardner on the second Toronto goal. On the first Toronto goal, Jackson Ross got the only assist. Marlboros play it around the boards. Bouncing puck down low. D'Agostini has it. Pass up to the blue line. Gracie sends a feed along the boards. D'Agostini a bobble. Comes back to Gracie, right point. Now it'll be handled by Hill. Hill loses possession, comes to Hudson Olahan. Olahan in his own end. Fed out of the far wall. Cross ice feed through center for Marson. Just bounced underneath his stick. Marson over the blue line. Little drop pass. Olahan now on it. Olahan throws it into the corner. Marson bobbles, loses possession. D'Agostini back with it. Ali Hebert back after it. Hebert in the corner. Hebert battles for possession, comes up the line, shot from McDonald, misses the mark, rims around the wall. Pressure coming now from Robichaud. Robichaud looking for it. Robichaud trying to force it in deep. Hebert giving chase. Now forced out to center. Zetas working in. McDonald cut off Zetas on that play, and now Robichaud will start the breakout here for the Trappers. Robichaud through the neutral zone. Robichaud over the blue line. Robichaud tries to split the defenders, but four Marlboros on him. Toronto gets it out to center. Here's Andrews. Andrews over the blue line. Andrews into the corner. Andrews takes down his man. Puck rims around the wall all the way down the ice. Under 5 to play here in the first period. Marlboro's up 2-0. Puck is banked off the boards by Ross. Now in over the line. A pass down low. Parker Bray cuts it off. Bray sends a pass to Carter. Carter looking to get it over to Wolf White. Carter over the blue line. Now taken back the other way here by Jackson Ross. Ross works it in for Toronto. Slap back up to the point. Lee able to hold. Lee sends a pass cut by Carter. Carter out to center. Now Brett DeMello. DeMello flips it into the Trappers' end. Back after it goes Parker Bray. Bray off the boards, and Ross will reset in neutral ice for the Marlboros. DeMello through center, racing back in. Here's a chance for Beauclair from a tight angle. That one just sailed high. Back after on the near side. Handled there by Ross. Ross for Beauclair, centering feed. Chance down low off the goalpost there for D'Agostini. Great opportunity for Luca D'Agostini, looking for his first goal of the weekend. Now a chance down low, and a great save made by Campbell Stickland. Really good pressure right now from the Marlboros. Stickland able to make the save on that chance. Well, Entropy is the official online championship apparel provider for the U13 AAA All-Ontario Championships, offering championship gear available for order now. That's Entropy for your All-Ontario Championship gear. Puck is tied up on the far boards. D'Agostini looking for it at the line. Fata plays it to Beauclair. Now D'Agostini. He's got space. D'Agostini, a shot, put it high. Marchese back after it near boards. Marchese to Samek at the line. Samek, a shot, saved by Stickland through traffic. Good job by Stickland there, fighting through the traffic, able to make the save. And hold on. Shots 9-0 in favor of the Marlboros right now to start the game. We saw a similar story to begin our first game of the day between Kenora and Quinte. Quinte outshot the Thistles throughout the first period. Did not allow a single shot to Kenora in the first frame. Bouncing puck in the corner. Marlboros control. D'Agostini down low. Beauclair. Marchese in close. Saved by Stickland. Rebound loose. D'Agostini a shot. It gets blocked. Fata at the line. Takes a shot. Turned away there by Stickland. Back on it, Beauclair. Beauclair working in. Beauclair cross ice. Fata try. Stickland got over to make the save. Back with it, Marchese. Marchese rims it to the line. Samek can't hold. It's out to center. Samek sends a feed cross ice to Beauclair. Back for Samek. Samek drops it back for Fata. Rafael Fata back on it. Fata sends it down the ice. Won't be icing. Was deflected. McDonald resets here for North Bay. McDonald tied up, fighting for possession. Both players go down. Comes now to D'Agostini. D'Agostini to Gracie. Correction, that's Gardner in there. Gardner sends it past to Andrews. Andrews cross ice. Here's a shot blocked in traffic. McDonald back after it for North Bay. Bouncing puck. McDonald in there. Clugston as well. Rimmed off the wall by Toronto. Back the line. Gracie takes the shot. Misses the net. Working on it, Evan Andrews. Andrews swings it back down low. McDonald gets a pass from Robichaud. McDonald trying to get it up to Clugston. Robichaud comes away with it. It's Robichaud through center. Robichaud over the blue line of the shot. Sailed that one high. Puck comes back now out of the stick of Nathan Miner. Miner tries to clear the zone. Can't do it. Back with it now, Sammy Gracie. Gracie through center. Andrews. Andrews a pass cut by Bray. Bouncing puck, Robichaud. Robichaud through center. Pass blocked there by Jackson Ross. Ross is back in over the blue line. Ross, little drop pass. D'Agostini a shot. It gets blocked. Back now in the corner. Ross, stick handling. Under siege. Ross towards Beauclair. After it, Olahan. Hudson Olahan off the boards. D'Agostini in there. D'Agostini cuts it off. Goes to Kyle Lee. Lee. Drop pass at the line for Brett DeMello. DeMello into the corner. D'Agostini. D'Agostini has it. Swings it down low. Beauclair. Beauclair off the wall. Lee in pursuit. Lee leaves for Ross. It'll come back though to Carter. Last minute here of the first period. Carter down the ice into the Toronto end. It'll be played by Tyler Vonderkroon. Vonderkroon gets it to a defender, and now the Marlboros are quickly out through center. Lee sends it past to Beauclair. Beauclair for D'Agostini. D'Agostini racing in, swept away nicely. Good defensive work there by Ogletree for North Bay. Marlboros continue to press. D'Agostini below the goal line. Rimmed around the wall, it's Ross. Ross the blue. Ross takes a shot, blocked in traffic. Bouncing puck. Ogletree trying to clear. After it White, it'll come back to DeMello. DeMello sends it past to Ross. Ross through the neutral zone. Beauclair. Beauclair for D'Agostini. D'Agostini rims it around the end boards. Comes back now below the goal line. Drouin sends it around the wall. Worked back by D'Agostini for Beauclair. Tight angle. Save made there by Stickland. Ogletree off the glass. Hits a stanchion. White able to get it out to center as time runs down here in this first period. So 15 minutes in the books here in Waterloo. We'll take a second to remind you that Gatorade is the official sports nutrition beverage of the U13 AAA All-Ontario Championships, fueling athlete hydration and recovery to keep performance at its peak throughout the championship. Both teams getting some messages from their coaches. Exactly the start you would want if you're the Toronto Marlboros. Up by a score of 2-0 through the first 15 minutes of play. Luke Samek finding the back of the net for Toronto. Kyle Lee as well. Samek opened the scoring, and then just over a minute later, correction, Lee opened the scoring. Just under a minute later, it was Samek finding the back of the net. Get a look at some of the moments from that first period. A good chance there for Reed Robichaud that went high. Ali Hebert had an opportunity as well for North Bay. Fired that one over the goal. The Trappers certainly had their chances. They didn't just end up on net. That was the lone issue for them. As get a look at the Samek goal, the one-timer put home for the Marlboros. So Toronto up 2-0 here. Heading into the second period of play. North Bay trying to mount a comeback. We're speaking with some of the parents from these two teams pre-game, and was told that a lot of these players did face off back in summer hockey, but they have not faced off since summer hockey. So it's been a while since these two sides have seen each other. And Toronto has gotten the better of North Bay so far through the first 15 minutes. Second period underway here from Waterloo after it goes Reed Robichaud. It'll be fired back down the ice there by Luke Samek. Below the goal line, Stickland leaves it. Bouncing puck, Robichaud whacks away. McDonald banks it off the boards. Marlboros back on it at center. Rafael Fata has it. Fata over the red line. Fata now in over the blue. Fata goes into the corner. Fata below the goal line, centering feed off the skate of McDonald. Hébert trying to grab possession from Fata, can't do it. Marchese's on it. Marchese. Pass up top for Fata. Fata lets it fly. Pad save by Stickland. Back on it now in the corner. Marlboros have possession at Samek. Samek loses possession now, and it's out to center. Carter over the blue line. Carter tied up by Samek there. Samek sends a pass cross ice to his D partner Fata. Rafael Fata over the blue line. Fata stick handles. Fata throws it down low. Gardner in the corner. Gardner back up top for Fata. Fata shooting through traffic. Blocker saves Stickland. Comes back now to Marson. Marson through center. Race for the loose puck. Clugston trying to beat Fata to it. Fata gets there first. Clugston trying to work it off him. He will. Clugston centering feed. Chance down low on the backhand. Blocker save Van der Kroon. And the puck will go up and over the glass, out of play. What an opportunity there for the Trappers. Clugston able to work it out to the slot. Really good work by Emmett Clugston, battling with Rafael Fata to grab possession, center a feed. The chance was right on the doorstep for North Bay, but Marson unable to bury it for the Trappers. When Marson has an assist in this championship, came back in the first game for North Bay this weekend. Kyle Lee with possession for Toronto. Pass through center, cut by Ogletree. Now forced back in by D'Agostini. In below the goal line, Trappers looking to start a rush up ice. Parker Bray sends a feed onto the far boards. Now a pass through center. Comes back on the near side. Forced the other way by Toronto, and Andrews will send it down the ice. Back below the goal line, Ogletree. Ogletree sends a feed out to center. Marson looking for it, comes to Andrews instead. Andrews for Lee. Lee in below the goal line, centering feed, blocked there. Lee has lost a glove on the play. Clugston trying to get through center. Fired down the ice, and North Bay will make changes here. Trappers are offside, trying to get reset. A long stretch pass through center for Andrews. And speaking of offside, well, Andrews was offside on that sequence, so we'll get a stoppage in play here. Just the one shot on goal for the Trappers in this game. Good chance down low for Owen Marson, but unable to beat Tyler Van der Kroon. The faceoff will come all the way back into the Toronto end after a long stretch pass proved to be offside. Wolf White will take the draw here for North Bay in the offensive end. Getting away from the faceoff dot is Jackson Gardner. Off the draw. Handled now below the goal line by Jackson Ross. Ross through center for Zettis. Zettis comes over the blue line. Andrew Zettis, a shot stopped by Stickland. Comes back to Beauclair. Beauclair up to the line. Held to the point by Ross. Ross into the corner for Beauclair. Olahan's on it. Olahan for Drouin. Drouin tries to fire it through center. It gets blocked. Beauclair has it in the corner. Beauclair drops it back. Gardner. Gardner facing pressure from Drouin. Comes back now to DeMello. DeMello makes a move. Rims it around the end boards. Gardner below the goal line. Gardner sends a pass up high. Held at the point by Ross. Ross pass for Gardner. Gardner winds in. Shoots. Save made there by Stickland. Bouncing puck. Trappers try to clear the zone. It'll be fired through center now and picked back up by Jackson Ross in the Marlboros end. Ross, bank pass for Zettis. Zettis over the blue line. Zettis into the corner, centering feed. Deflection there from D'Agostini. Wolf White from the North Bay end out through center. Knocked down by Blanchard there, and it'll come back to DeMello. DeMello over the blue line. Drop pass, quick shot, glove save Stickland. And he will hold on. Good shot there for Evan Andrews off the rush, letting it fly, but Campbell Stickland able to make the save. Get another look here at that sequence. DeMello able to work it over the blue line. Little drop pass for Andrews, who let it fly, but the save was made. Take a moment to thank our partners for supporting today's event. Special recognition to Milk, a proud partner of the U13 AAA All-Ontario Championships. Samek a shot, save made by Campbell Stickland there. Dairy Farmers of Ontario are proud to support young athletes and encourage healthy, active lifestyles. Another draw in the Trappers' end here, 2-0 Toronto in the early going of the second period. Off the face-off, Robichaud wins the draw. McDonald pivots away from pressure. McDonald banks it off the wall, hits the skate of Carter Hebert giving chase. Rafael Fata back with it for Toronto. Fata banks it off the boards for Marchese. Marchese now into the Trappers' end. Bray tied up, D'Agostini in there. Flipped into the corner. Bouncing puck, Hebert. Hebert off the boards through center, Robichaud. Robichaud over the blue line. Robichaud working in. Robichaud a shot blocker saved by Vonderkroon there. Reed Robichaud has mentioned 3 goals in the tie yesterday against Kenora. Marchese over the blue line. Marchese to Andrews. Andrews now down low. Robichaud trying to knock it loose. Comes back to D'Agostini. D'Agostini throws it below the goal line. Andrews in pursuit. McDonald gets there first. McDonald lays the body in the corner. That's going to be a penalty here against North Bay. Marlboros getting the extra attacker out there. Fata works the slot. Fata holds, shoots. Glove save, Campbell Stickland will get a whistle. So Toronto headed to the power play here. They will get the game's first man advantage. Owen McDonald headed to the penalty box. Correction, Nash McDonald, I should say, headed to the penalty box on that sequence. Good chance for the Marlboros on the delayed penalty, but unable to capitalize on it. Draw will go to the left of Stickland here. Off the face-off. Ross has it. Ross at the blue line, throws it down into the corner. Now a centering pass. Zetas a shot saved by Stickland, who will hold on. McDonald has been logging some big minutes for the Trappers so far in this game. So if you're North Bay, you don't want to take any penalties right now. Down 2 goals, trying to mount a comeback. But in particular, you want to see Nash McDonald be the one to go to the box. Holding is listed as the call in the box score. Off the face-off, here's a shot. Save made, rebound there. Gardner scores. It's a power play goal for Jackson Gardner. And the Marlboros are up by a score of 3-0. Gardner right on the doorstep after the Jackson Ross shot got stopped. Gardner able to bury the rebound just under 5 minutes into this second period. So Jackson Gardner finds the back of the net. The Marlboros with a bit of a cushion. Beauclair trying to get over the blue line. Couldn't quite do so cleanly. Back on it now, Minor. Minor in his own zone sends a pass through center. Gardner in over the blue line. Drop pass Beauclair. Trappers trying to force it out to center. Marson will, but lost an edge. Beauclair back with it. Pass cross ice for Clugston, deflected. Hill sweeps it back through center. Chip play, Clugston. Clugston has space working in. Clugston a shot blocked there. The stick of Sammy Gracie got in the way of that chance. Gracie has it down below the goal line. Clugston applying pressure. Marlboros look to get it through center. Gardner for Zetas. Zetas working in. Zetas towards the goal of the backhand. Can't get a shot away. Taken out of the play. Some of the parents of the crowd wanted a penalty. As North Bay races back up ice, Parker Bray. Bray trying to split the defenders, kicked away by Fata there. Now Beauclair a feed out to the neutral zone. Nash McDonald knocks it down. McDonald, a pass for White. White looking for it, now Kyle Lee's got it. Lee banks it off the boards. McDonald overskated it. Swept it off the wall, fires it in deep. It'll be turned away by the pad of Vonderkroon. Comes back to Samek. Samek for Fata. Fata to Mashinter. Mashinter sends a pass to Lee. Lee looking for an option. Lee centers for Samek, just missed. Now Mashinter back on it. Mashinter below the goal line, comes back to White. White tied up. White in behind the North Bay net, fires it off the glass. Just squeaks out to center. Samek plays it back in deep. Toronto is offside. Wolf White loses possession, but Bray there to regroup, and then Bray takes a hard hit on the play as North Bay comes in over the blue line with numbers. Here's a shot. It gets blocked. Good chance there for Aubrey Alkins. Now offside the call. Andrews was home free, but the draw will come all the way back. This puck stoppage is brought to you by Barron Rings, the official championship ring provider of the U13 AAA All-Ontario Championships. Barron Rings proudly celebrates the achievements of athletes by creating lasting symbols of success and excellence. Face-off will go to the right here of Tyler Vonderkroon. Reed Robichaud will take the draw for the Trappers. Off the face-off, Robichaud for Hébert. Back at the line, Holohan. Holohan back to Hébert in the corner. Hébert tied up by DeMello. Comes back to the line. Holohan taken down. Puck gets sent out to center by Toronto. Nash McDonald has it. McDonald banks it off the boards. Robichaud through neutral ice. 3-on-2. Here are the Trappers. Robichaud to Hébert. Hébert a shot. That one gets blocked. Andrews looking for it now. Marlboros trying to clear the zone. Pass through center from Ross. Quick shot there from Marchese. Denied by Stickland. Carter in the corner. Carter. Bank pass off the board. Zetis knocks it down. Zetis works in, takes a shot. It's blocked. Holohan throws it into the corner, takes a hit. Trappers trying to clear the zone. Bouncing puck. Zetis between his skates. Hébert trying to bounce it out to neutral ice. Comes back to Zetis. Zetis works in. Zetis holding, shooting off the side of the net. Zetis back after it. Now in the far corner. D'Agostini. D'Agostini drops it back below the goal line. Picked back up by Robichaud for North Bay. Robichaud for Hébert through center. Hébert over the blue line. Hébert into the corner. Hébert watched by DeMello there. Hébert tied up. Zetis will get it out to center for Toronto. Comes out of the stick of Sammy Gracie. Gracie for Beauclair. Beauclair sends a pass to D'Agostini down low. Now comes back up to the line, Minor. Minor swings it around the end boards. Picked back up by Jonathan Beauclair. Beauclair, a little pass for Andrews. Glove save made by Stickland, who will hold on here. 6:21 to go in this second period. 3-0 the score in favor of the Marlies, who are off to a good start in this game. Off the draw, bouncing puck. It'll be flipped up and through center. Handled by Sammy Gracie. Gracie works it back in. Now a chance coming up for Gardner. A goal already today. Backhand shot denied by Stickland. Lee stopped on the rebound as well. Stickland's been busy so far. Another couple of good saves there, I should say. Back in now, racing into the chance. Clugston. His shot stopped by Vonderkroon. How about that rush up ice for Emmett Clugston? Coming in on Vonderkroon to the chance, but Vonderkroon able to get the denial. Face-off will go to the right of Vonderkroon here. Off the draw. Trappers control. Back at the line into the corner. It's fed by Ogletree. Now a little move made by Clugston. Quick shot. That one blocked out front. Got a big chunk of Samek, who was a little bit shaken up down there. Marson after it. Samek will play it. Backhands it around the wall. Now comes back to Evan Andrews. Andrews off the boards through center. Drouin will play it. Drouin in his own zone. Drouin facing pressure from Andrews. Now bounces back to White. Wolf White from the Trappers' end of the ice. White pass through center. Racing through the neutral zone, Aubrey Alkins here. Alkins a shot. It gets blocked in traffic by Ross there. Ross a stretch feed for Beauclair knocked down. Zetis back in. Zetis for Beauclair. Down low, a chance at the doorstep. Fada taken out. Penalty coming here. Now they're getting into it. Some rough stuff down near the goal. Beauclair got after it with a couple of Trappers. Fada got taken down. Didn't like it. Gave a shove to the player who threw him to the ice, and then a little bit of pushing and shoving down near the North Bay net as Ogletree will head to the penalty box here for the Trappers. We'll see if there are any more calls on the play. Looks like Blanchard headed to the box as well. And Antonio Marchese headed to the box for Toronto. Marchese can't believe it. I don't know if Marchese was really the one mixing things up down there. It's just kind of the guy that they took out of the scrum. Beauclair talking with the officials, all three officials conferencing. Just over 5 minutes to go here in the second period. As it stands right now, Toronto will be going to the power play for the second time in this game. The officials have conference at center. Now we'll go to the scorer's box and alert them of their decision. Marchese in the box for Toronto. Ogletree and Blanchard in the box for North Bay. The officials trying to tell the North Bay players which one will come out of the box first, whether it'll be Ogletree or Blanchard, because one will come out after the Toronto power play expires. One will have to wait until the first whistle after there's 3:06 left in the second period, I should say. And I'll take this moment to remind you that Entropy is the official online championship apparel provider of the U13 AAA All-Ontario Championships, offering championship gear available for order now. Again, that is Entropy for your U13 AAA All-Ontario Championship gear. The officials now going to fill in the two coaches, Joey Russi for North Bay and Anthony Marchese for Toronto. Trappers are 0 for 1 on the penalty kill in this game. Did allow a power play goal to Kenora yesterday in 3 attempts as well. Marlboros having a little conference, taking advantage of this time to try to draw up a play perhaps and get all set up with the power play. Already up by 3 goals here. 3-0 the score in favor of the boys in blue. The official with one last word for the scorer's box, and now the penalty has been taken off the scoreboard. They're going to give it to Ogletree. So initially it was Blanchard's penalty that was going to be served, but it'll be Ogletree's call. Robichaud looking for it, comes back up to the blue line. Cross ice pass Fada. Fada walks the blue line. Fada sends a feed cross ice, thrown back down low. Fada working in right circle. Fada with Beauclair. Beauclair, high slot. Beauclair, a pass that goes off a skate. Fada working it back at the right point. Fada trying to wind in. Fada into the corner. Fada back up high. Handled by Ross. Ross for Beauclair. Ross back for Fada. Fada out front, bouncing puck. Knocked away. Comes back to Fada again. His shot misses the net. Comes back out of the stick there of Andrew Zetis. Zetis back to the line. Fada has it. Fada cross ice. Ross throws it into the corner. Beauclair. Beauclair back for Fada up high. Fada throws it down low for D'Agostini. Just missed. A minute to go in the Toronto power play. D'Agostini cross ice feed Ross. Ross pass out front Zetis. Zetis goes into the corner. Zetis for Ross up high. One-timer fanned on. Now the Trappers trying to get it out through center. Robichaud will clear the zone. Zetis back in. Zetis trying to cut towards the net. Kept away on that rush up ice. Marlboros have possession at the line, handled there by Samek. Samek for Fada. Fada throws it into the corner. Luca D'Agostini. D'Agostini, a cross ice feed. Pass to the slot area for Lee. Lee down low. Peeling back is Gardner. Gardner up high for Samek. Samek trades places with Gardner. Pass misfires, comes out to center. Final stages here of this power play for the Marlboros. DeMello over the blue line. DeMello stops up, drops it back. Andrews in space with the shot. Stickland makes the save. And Campbell Stickland will hold on. 2 seconds to go in the Toronto power play. Ogletree's call is on the board. The discussion right now in the penalty box area. Ogletree saying that Blanchard is leaving the box and Ogletree is staying. Puck is handled down low by the Trappers here. Pass through center. Clugston over the blue line. Clugston takes a shot. DeMello blocks it. Gardner sends a pass far boards. Thrown through center by Samek. Bouncing puck. Clugston back in over the blue line. Clugston loses possession. DeMello cross ice feed. Now into space. Kindly. Lee working in. A goal already today. Lee hauled down. No arm up in the play as the Trappers will get it out to center. Clugston over the blue line. Clugston a move. Takes a shot. Misses the net. Rims around the wall. North Bay is changing. They'll narrowly avoid a too many players call. Puck comes all the way back down the ice. Nash McDonald on it in his own zone. Goes to Hudson Olahan. Olahan through center. Wolf White over the blue line. Ooh, offside the call. Blanchard tried to hold the right skate. Couldn't do it. Ogletree out of the penalty box. Now for North Bay and Marchese as well. Marchese's out of the box, but Ogletree still stuck in there. And the North Bay head coach, Joey Russi, trying to figure out what's going on here. The whole sequence is a little bit confusing because Blanchard's penalty was on the board initially. Then they took it down, put Ogletree's call up there. So you'd expect Ogletree to leave the box first, but then Blanchard left the box first. And then Ogletree was leaving the box at the same time as his Toronto counterpart was, but then gets told to stay in the box by the official scorer. So now Ogletree trying to figure out if he's headed to the bench or if he's staying in the box. He's skating to the bench right now. Just over 2 minutes to go in this second period. Some confusion here in the middle frame of this one, with the penalties causing a little bit of a delay. So now the officials will go back to the North Bay bench and try to sort this out. Now, I think Joey Russi on the North Bay bench expected Ogletree to come out of the penalty box just as everybody else did. But Ogletree, you could hear him from our vantage point here in the broadcast booth, was trying to tell his coach and his teammates, no. Blanchard's getting out of the box first. Matt's getting out of the box first. So nobody in either penalty box right now. And we appear set to resume. Face-off will be in neutral ice. Wolf White will take the draw against Andrew Zettis. Zettis wins it. Mashinter will play it back to Miner. Miner sends a pass cross ice. It's Sammy Gracie over the blue line. Hauled down. Penalty coming here. It's going to go against the Trappers. Gracie for Miner. Miner at the line. Miner works a pass. Mashinter. One-timer in the slot. They score. Andrew Zettis. His second goal of the championship weekend. And it's 4-0 for the Marlboros here. Zettis, a one-timer that finds the back of the net and extends the Toronto lead to 4 here. Nice little setup. Mashinter found him in the slot and he one-times it home. Marlboros have possession off the ensuing face-off. Mashinter fires it in deep. Out of the crease is Stickland to play it. Now back below the goal line. Marlboros control, pass up top for Miner. That shot blocked. Hebert gets it out to center. Couldn't quite maintain possession though. North Bay would have had a 2-on-1. Hebert forced it out to the neutral zone. Hebert cross ice feed. Now some space here. Carter working in. Carter a move! Oh, what a move, but can't bury it. And this game remains 4-0. Vonderkroon might have gotten over to keep that shot out. What a chance. Beauclair for Zettis. Zettis loses it. Hebert back on it. Hebert through center. Hebert over the blue line. Hebert chips it in deep. It'll be covered up by Vonderkroon to get a whistle here. Well, as a proud partner of this championship weekend, the Hockey Hall of Fame provides players the game for all championship games. The Hall, home of hockey and the Stanley Cup. Face-off will go to the left of Van der Kroon here. Draw will be taken by Kai Hill. Off the face-off. DeMello has it back. Brett DeMello in below the Toronto goal line. Rimmed off the boards, now handled by Antonio Marchese. Marchese from his own end, drop pass for Lee. Kyle Lee through center. Pass out of the far boards, working his way back in now is Ross. Ross throws it out front, denied by Stickland. D'Agostini back on it. That shot denied as well. Bouncing puck, Marchese pursues. Marchese for D'Agostini. D'Agostini around the end boards. D'Agostini, a pass for Ross. Ross on the near side wall. Ross drops it back to D'Agostini. Now up high, DeMello. DeMello through traffic, misses the net. Ross back on it below the goal line, pinching. Ross for D'Agostini. D'Agostini pivots at the left dot. 10 seconds to go in the period. D'Agostini below the goal line. D'Agostini, a lap of the offensive zone. Now for Ross, one-timer, glove save Stickland, who holds on. Ross, a one-timer from the blue line, but Stickland able to make the save. 2.3 seconds on the clock here in this second period. 4-0 the score in favor of the Marlboros. One last face-off in all likelihood here for this second period, which will go to the right of the goaltender, Campbell Stickland. Zettis will take the face-off for Toronto. Draw one by Hill and North Bay, and that will do it for the first 30 minutes of play here in Waterloo. Well, you want to talk about a dream start for one team. The Toronto Marlboros certainly feel like they got that through the first 30 minutes of this contest. A really strong performance in the opening period. And then in the second frame as well, it just kept up the same way. As we welcome you back inside the broadcast booth, Dylan Baker along with you for this morning and this afternoon's contest before Christian Simmons takes over for the final two games this evening. Well, the Toronto Marlboros are the only undefeated team in this tournament right now, and you can see why based on the way that they've been playing here through the first 30 minutes of this game. Goals from 4 different goal scorers: Jackson Gardner, Andrew Zettis, Kyle Lee, Luke Samek, all finding the back of the net, and the Marlboros have continued to keep their foot on the gas pedal as this one has progressed. We saw a little bit of intensity, picking up some penalties in that second period. It's been a fun one overall between these two teams. The Marlboros certainly moving the puck well, and North Bay generating their chances, just trying to get one that will cross the goal line and get them on the scoreboard. But we will take a quick break here for our intermission before the third period. You're watching the U13 AAA All-Ontario Championships live from Waterloo.
Something to call mine. Oh, I need someone to talk to right here, right now. Oh, we are on our way, starting today.
This building, this province, and these fan bases.
Canada's best men's under 18 club teams come to Peterborough this spring for the 2026 TELUS Cup. Who will follow in the footsteps of the greats that have come before? Catch all the action live from April 20th to 26th at the Peterborough Memorial Centre. Tickets are available now at hockeycanada.ca/TELUS Cup.
I love hockey. I always have since I was a kid, and the first shift is what got me into playing hockey.
In 2014, Hockey Canada and Bauer set out to create a program that would help introduce hockey to new-to-hockey families across the country. This program is called the First Shift. More than 10 years ago, Tim laced up the skates for the first time ever through a First Shift program in Scarborough.
Back in 2014, my parents first heard about the First Shift program through one of the local community centers. My parents immigrated to Canada several decades ago. They actually didn't know anything about hockey, even when we started. My siblings and I, we would watch it on YouTube, we would listen to the games on the radio, but we didn't really know much about how the game was played. And because of this First Shift program, we actually learned a lot about hockey. Without it, I don't believe that we would have been playing on the ice. Trying on hockey equipment for the first time was a very exciting experience. I'd only seen hockey equipment on the professionals and seen them on the ice, seen clips of them. Putting all the gear on, it was like I was one of them. Something that I remember most about the First Shift, the welcome event, was how overwhelming it was. All the gear, all the people. I really didn't know what was going on, but the fit experts were very professional. They knew what they were doing. They walked us through everything, and just the excitement afterwards is something that really stuck with me. Something that still stands out to me from that first experience is the coaches. Stepping out onto the ice for the first time was very exhilarating. I was a bit nervous, but the coaches, they took care of those nerves right away. And after that, it was just fun. After the First Shift, what kept me involved in hockey was the sanctioned minor program, the Scarborough Ice Raiders. I played with them for several years. First Shift means a lot to me personally. It kind of shaped my life growing up, because without this program, I wouldn't have gotten into hockey. Without hockey, I don't think I would be the kind of person I am. Being able to play on a team, work with teammates, day in, day out, build that sense of community is something that shaped my life throughout.
Having great fit experts is outstanding. They are the heart and soul of this program. Having experts such as Tim convey their love of the game and their expert advice on equipment fitting reassures family and begins their hockey journey in the best possible way.
It feels awesome to give back to the program that started my hockey journey. I'm very grateful to First Shift, and I'm grateful to be back here and be able to be on the other side, give back to other kids, give back to my community. So something that I would say to a family that's considering the First Shift program is that it's absolutely worth it. You're getting a full set of gear and ice time at such an affordable cost. You're also getting memories that your child will be able to carry with them through the rest of their life. It's something that you'll never forget.
I had a really rough year, obviously. It kind of brought some light to what had happened to me. And
you know, it was really perseverance in the face of adversity. Non-hockey related injury, but one of significance.
Getting the news that he had the fractures, and it was a compression fracture, and him not being able to move and just waiting for the news to see if he needed surgery or if he was going to be able to walk, if it had hit any nerves. It was frightening.
it was hard, but what motivated me was the support I had around me. I felt like I couldn't fail.
With Dominic, he didn't walk away from hockey through his recovery. He continued to participate as best he could.
Hockey's taught me you got to do the hard thing, because usually the hard thing is the right thing to do. That perseverance, just pushing yourself through hard things, and it's helped shape the values of my whole personnel overall.
Today, everybody's busy. And to see young people like Dominic with the opportunity to set aside time to contribute to community is very important.
I want kids to have the same experience I had when I was a kid. I went to Knights games when I was younger, and you come home with a mini stick or a puck, and it's like the best thing ever. I think a lot of people bond over hockey and what it's given to them, so I want to give the same to the future youth.
Having a scholarship program, it just allows us to recognize some of those individuals that have just taken that to the next level.
I mean, I cried. I was super proud of him being recognized for such an amazing award.
Obviously, I wasn't able to work for about 6 months. It's helped me and my family a lot, just paying for school and it being less of a burden.
It's not about just developing a hockey player. It's about developing good citizens.
So that specific shooting drill that we were working on today is to help give them those extra shooting techniques so that in a game-like situation, they're not just using one or two, they've got multiple ways of being able to shoot the puck. Not only does that make it more difficult for the defenseman to defend, but also for that goaltender to not only track it, but making sure that they're able to square up on the puck as well. So just helps them become more of that lethal player that they're looking for at that elite level.
Out here, we're working on a lot of transitioning, walking the blue line, puck retrievals. Lots of that has to do with being able to take good angles to pucks, good routes to pucks, being able to shoulder check, being able to execute some deception. There's a setup, there's a trap, there's a payoff to every move. So making sure that the players are understanding the process in how to identify danger, identify options, and how to misdirect players under a stressful environment.
So a lot of our focus points here at the Program of Excellence Under 15 is going to be helping the goaltenders a lot with their preparation before the shot. Things like leading with the eyes, scanning the ice before they make their movements, being able to put themselves into the right places at the right times, and ultimately set themselves up for success when the shot comes off the stick. We're also going to be tying in a couple small technical areas where we're talking about a lot of sequencing in their movement, about how the body is supposed to operate from the top of the head down into their skates in order to generate that real strong and effective movement.
Back now inside the Waterloo Memorial Recreation Complex. The U13 AAA All-Ontario Championships continuing. Finally set to begin the third period here in Waterloo after a little Zamboni delay out on the ice. There was a big pile of snow out there. They had to take care of that, and there were a couple of spots that were missed by the Zamboni, so it had to back out onto the ice again, do a couple more laps. We're all set and ready to go here for period number 3. The Toronto Marlboros up by a score of 4-0 after 2 periods of play, and now they still have some ice issues down at the one end of the ice that they're trying to rectify. It's a little bit wet right now, so the officials have a cleaning tool out trying to get rid of some of the excess liquid down near the North Bay net. So we're not quite ready to resume here, but things look to be okay in the Toronto end, just in the North Bay end right now, that they are trying to clean up the ice and figure this whole situation out. The crowd was certainly animated during that intermission, trying to signal to the Zamboni driver that he had missed a couple of spots, and now they're trying to get rid of all the excess water down near the North Bay net and trying to get this ice to dry a little bit quicker. So they are now cleaning up the ice after the Zamboni was delayed and the Zamboni came out onto the ice. And the officials in conversation right now with the arena staff. You can see them at the far end of your screen there, all the way in the North Bay end, all conferenced together, trying to push some of the liquid to the sides. You may have seen it a couple of weeks ago, or maybe last week. It was the wow, you can really see all that water there when we give you the close-up shot. My goodness, all the water and all the snow back there. There's a lot out there right now that the officials are just trying to deal with. Some puddles in behind the North Bay net. Skating back and forth and pushing the water into the corners, trying to separate it as much as possible, spread it all out. This is, I'll be honest, I can't really say that I have ever seen something like this, where the Zamboni, you may not have seen it on your screen during the intermission, but the Zamboni had to make 3 trips onto the ice. 3 separate trips onto the ice. The initial trip, the initial flood, and then a second trip where they then had to roll back into their Zamboni well and then come back out to fix more issues. So the official trying to sort through this. There's a lot of water out on the ice right now. And the referee's just trying to get through it all. The door now open to the Zamboni well, and the cleanup continuing here in Waterloo. Well, Toronto up by a score of 4-0 as mentioned. They opened the scoring at the 7:36 mark of the first period. Kine Lee finding the back of the net, then Luke Samek at 8:23. So 2-0 after 1 in the second. It was Jackson Gardner scoring on the power play at 4:48 of the second period, and then Andrew Zetas at 13:09 of the second frame. Those are the 4 Toronto goals. Now we've got a shovel out on the ice. My goodness. You know what? There has been a lot of hockey played on this ice over the past couple of days. 12 games in the first 2 days, 5 more coming up today. But they've got shovels and mops out there now. Good work from the officials. This is not necessarily part of the job description when you take the job of linesperson or referee. And yet, here they are shoveling up snow and water and all kinds of excess liquid down on the one end of the ice. Both teams trying to stay loose, trying to stay fresh, get their legs back underneath them, going for skates around their own respective zones, and I can't say I blame them. A long delay. We're up over half an hour here for this intermission now. We'll see if that puts the games behind schedule later on. Our next scheduled start time here today is 2 p.m. when Ottawa takes on Huron-Perth. Waterloo faces Kenora at 4, and Quinte takes on North Bay at 6. That's the remaining action today in Waterloo. As we take a look at the standings, or we'll talk through the standings here for this championship weekend. Toronto 3-0 is in first, Quinte 2-1-1 in second, Waterloo 1-1-2 in third, Ottawa 2-1-0 in fourth, Huron-Perth 1-1-1 in fifth, North Bay 0-2-1 in sixth, and Kenora 0-3-1 in seventh. Well, the shovels, the squeegees, the mops have been put away. There you go. There you take a look at the standings for this weekend's championship as things currently sit right now, and we'll see how this game impacts things. 15 minutes on the scoreboard. We are finally underway here in the third period. Puck gets played through center. Beauclair looking for it. Ross knocks it down. Bouncing puck. Ross swings it back onto the far side looking for Brett DeMello there. DeMello from his own end. DeMello sends a pass through center. Kine Lee. Lee a feed to the slot. Beauclair. Beauclair tries to throw it down low. He scores. A bit of a change up there for Jonathan Beauclair, but he finds the back of the net, and it's 5-0 for Toronto. So just 21 seconds into this third period, Beauclair finds the back of the net. He continues his terrific tournament. 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points coming into this game. Has now a goal and an assist this afternoon. So up to 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points in this All-Ontario Championship. Off the face-off, Ross forces it into the corner. Jackson Ross down below the goal line, centering feed Kine Lee. Lee can't find it, now back the other way. Here come the Trappers through center. Clugston looking for a passing option, loses possession. Back on it is Jackson Ross. Ross through neutral ice. Ross over the blue line. Ross stick handles. Ross, right circle. Ross cross ice feed, hits off the skate. Lee down below the goal line. Beauclair back for Lee. Cross ice feed knocked down. Clugston skates through center. Clugston fires it in deep. DeMello in pursuit. DeMello through neutral ice. DeMello stick handles in the corner now. DeMello loses possession, comes back below the goal line. Handled there by Marchese. Marchese in behind the net. Zetas is on it. Zetas works it to the high slot. Zetas. Samek now. Samek in. Pat save there. Great stop by Stickland on that chance as Ali Hebert heads the other way for North Bay. Hebert loses possession. Rafael Fada has it. Fada from his own zone. Pressure from Hebert. Fada gets it up the boards for Zetas. Zetas cross-ice feed blocked by Aubrey Alkins. Alkins in the corner. Has it for North Bay. Alkins off the boards. Now back at the line. Swung around the end wall by McDonald. Fada back with it. Fada to Marchese. Marchese through center. D'Agostini. D'Agostini busting in. D'Agostini towards the goal. Loses possession. It'll be swiped into the corner. Marchese now back below the goal line. Handled by Ogletree. Ogletree through center for North Bay. Up in the direction of Owen Marson down the ice. Won't be icing here. It'll be covered up though by Tyler Vonderkroon. So we will get a stoppage in play here at the 2:18 mark of the third period. Went 2 minutes and 18 seconds of continuous play without a stoppage to kick off this period. Face-off will go to the left of Vonderkroon here. Off the draw. Marlboros control. Handled by Gracie. Gracie to Beauclair. Beauclair for Gardner. Gardner makes a move, goes into the corner. Gardner drops it around Olahan for Beauclair. Now swung back around the wall, poked up the boards by Marson, taken by Gracie. Gracie, a shot that gets blocked out front. Hill sends it to the far boards. Now thrown in around the wall by Nathan Miner. Centering pass, bouncing puck on the doorstep, just goes wide. Back after it, Beauclair down low now for Toronto. A pass that comes to Marson. Marson through center. Marson a feed, Clugston racing in over the blue line. Clugston to the slot, can't get a shot away cleanly. Back after it is Andrews. Now we've got a broken stick for Evan Andrews in the Toronto end, so he'll have to race off to the bench, get a new one. Beauclair. Beauclair sends a cross-ice feed. In over the line, centering pass, chance down low for Gardner there, couldn't get a shot away. Back at the line, Ross, a one-timer, sails high. Beauclair tried to go between the legs, looks to feed it back out front. It's cut by Kai Hill. Hill sends it all the way down the ice. This one's going to be icing called against North Bay, which allows us to say thank you to our partners for supporting today's event. Special recognition goes to Milk, a proud partner of the U13 AAA All-Ontario Championships. Dairy Farmers of Ontario are proud to support young athletes and encourage healthy, active lifestyles. D-zone draw coming up here for the Trappers. Offensive zone face-off for Toronto. We'll have to reset on the draw here. Andrew Zettis getting waved. Off the face-off, DeMello picks it up for the Marlboros. Works it down the wall into the corner. Now back around the end boards. Mashinter. Mashinter taken down. Battle for possession. Mashinter has it in the corner. Centering feed for Lee. Lee, backhand shot, sailed it high. Back after it now, down lower the Marlboros. A centering pass from Mashinter for Zettis got blocked. Trappers trying to get it out to center, and they will. Picked back up by Jackson Ross. Ross into the corner. Has possession. Ross around the goal, centering feed, deflected. Comes back up to the blue line. DeMello sends it past to Lee. Lee into the corner. Lee, cross ice feed. Thrown down low. Picked up by Ross in the corner for Lee again. Lee to DeMello up high. DeMello through traffic, a shot deflected up and over the glass out of play. The Marlboros continuing to control the play here in this third period as they have for the vast majority of this game. You see the shot total on your screen, 24-5 in favor of Toronto, as they look to pick up their fourth victory of the weekend. Off the face-off, Robichaud wins the draw. Robichaud takes a bump, Holohan after it. Holohan sends a pass off the boards. Rafael Fata flies in. Fata trying to sidestep Holohan. Collision there between two of the bigger guys on the ice between the two teams. Now back through center. Hebert over the blue line. D'Agostini. D'Agostini sends it out to center. Bray now on it. Bray sends a feed far wall. Holohan. Holohan through center. Bouncing puck, D'Agostini. Poked off his stick, gets it right back. D'Agostini into the shot, put it high. Rims around the wall, now Marchese after it. Marchese tries to sweep it in deep. Ali Hebert sends it out to center. Here comes Robichaud. Robichaud for Carter. Carter's shot misses the mark. Van der Kroon tried to sweep it down low and then had to cover up, didn't get much on it. And it was loose in the crease, so Van der Kroon gets a stoppage in play here. And now a discussion between Clugston and Fata. We saw Fata get into it with a couple of North Bay players earlier when he got taken down to the ice in front of the net. Fata, of course, a Northern Ontario guy himself, so might be familiar with some of these players. Clugston off the faceoff, takes a shot, save Van der Kroon, rebound there, bouncing puck, comes back below the goal line. It'll be carried by Miner through center. Now in over the line. Maintaining possession here are the Marlboros. Chance for Beauclair on the doorstep. He makes the save. And back the other way now comes Marson. Marson in over the blue line. Marson throws it towards the goal. Miner trying to keep Ogletree away. Ogletree sweeps it back towards Marson. Pass gets cut. Rims around the wall to Beauclair. Beauclair, cross ice pass. Gracie looking for it. Now with it, Beauclair in over the North Bay line. Beauclair, far side feed, shot there from Mashinter gets stopped. Bouncing puck looking for it, Clugston. Clugston's got some space to work through center. Clugston over the blue line. Clugston fires a shot, misses the net. Rims around the boards. Marlboros get it out to center. Trappers trying to bring it back in. Blanchard comes in over the blue line. Blanchard into the corner. Beauclair steals from him, goes to Miner. Miner sends it around the wall. McDonald holds the line. Nash McDonald a shot, misses the net. Rims around the boards. Beauclair now near wall, has possession. Beauclair to Lee through center. Holohan back for it for North Bay. Holohan to Alkins. Aubrey Alkins over the red line. Alkins stops up, spins back. Alkins, cross ice feed. Into open space. Blanchard giving chase. Now forced back in by Andrew Zettis. Here's Lee. Kine Lee works in. Lee centering pass. Andrews tried to deflect it home. Now a feed from Andrews out front. Lee gets a shot away. It won't go. It'll be touched up by Andrews. Penalty coming here to Toronto. North Bay headed to the power play. Tripping is the penalty. Well, this puck stoppage is brought to you by Barron Rings, the official championship ring provider of the U13 AAA All-Ontario Championships. Barron Rings proudly celebrates the achievements of athletes by creating lasting symbols of success and excellence. North Bay hoping for excellence on this power play here. It's their first chance on the power play in this game. They've been on the penalty kill twice, are 1 for 2. Ali Hebert, far corner, works it back down low. Kai Hill. Hill back to Hebert. Hebert walking in. Hebert shooting. Save made there by Van der Kroon, who will hold on. Ali Hebert walking down the wall with a shot there. Hebert, the captain of this North Bay squad. Off the face-off. Puck comes back into the corner. Now off the boards, Marchese. Here's D'Agostini. D'Agostini over the blue line. D'Agostini cutting towards the net. Kept away. D'Agostini battles with Robichaud. Now Hebert. Ali Hebert tries to sidestep Marchese. Marchese working in. Marchese in space. Throws it down low. Pass for Ross. That shot just sails high. D'Agostini looking for the rebound. Picked back up by North Bay. Here's Robichaud. Robichaud over the blue line. Robichaud pivots away from pressure. Robichaud throws it down low. Handled there by Hill. Hill, a centering pass blocked. Hill back after to the corner. A little tie up. Marchese trying to clear the zone. Puck gets forced out to center. Jackson Ross throws it into open space. Gardner coming in over the blue line. Jackson Gardner, a shot tipped on goal. Save made by Campbell Stickland. Stickland's been busy in this game. Couple of chances shorthanded there for the Marlboros, who lead 5-0. North Bay remains on the power play here as this one progresses. Off the draw. Tie up, comes back. Fata lets it fly, sails it high. Now Samek thought about pinching, couldn't quite get in there cleanly. Ogletree tried to play it out to center for Clugston. Pass didn't go. Beauclair back on it now for Toronto. Beauclair to Samek. Samek sends it around the end boards. Holohan giving chase. Holohan in the far corner. Now skated through by Alkins. Aubrey Alkins. Alkins stops up, spins it back up high. Ogletree back for Alkins for Ogletree. One-timer tipped out front, got blocked. Now back the other way, racing ahead of the Marlboros. It's Beauclair. Out of the boxes, Lee to join them. Beauclair pass down low. Fata couldn't get a shot away. Fata lays the body in the corner there. A penalty coming up again to Toronto, as now Fata getting into it again here with a member of the Trappers. It's Clugston. So Fata lays the body in the corner, and then Clugston not happy about it. So Fata will go to the penalty box here. Interference is the call against Rafael Fata that will send him to the penalty box. Fata couldn't get a shot away, went into the corner and laid the body on Wolf White, as you saw on your screen there. So North Bay 0 for 1 on the power play, heading to their second man advantage of the period. Take a moment to remind you that Entropy is the official online championship apparel provider of the U13 AAA All-Ontario Championships, offering championship gear available for order now. Again, that is Entropy, the official online provider of the U13 AAA All-Ontario Championship merchandise. Trappers looking to break out here from their own zone. Reed Robichaud. Robichaud stops up. Robichaud now through center. Drop pass for Kai Hill, offside at the Toronto blue line. And so the face-off will come back out to center. Trappers had one good look on their first power play. It was an Ali Hebert shot from the right circle. But after that, Toronto was pressing shorthanded. Here's Robichaud. Robichaud in neutral ice. Robichaud sends it pass through center. Hebert. Hebert comes over the blue line. Hebert looking for it, now forced back out to center again. Robichaud. Robichaud gains the zone, goes to Bray. Bray, drop pass, McDonald. Nash McDonald throws it off the boards in deep. Back after it now in the corner. It's handled by Jackson Ross. Ross out to center for Andrews. Was home free shorthanded, but bobbled his stick and couldn't capitalize on the chance. Andrew Zetas now after it in the corner. Zetas battles for possession. Bray carries it through center. Bray left it for Robichaud. Robichaud over the blue line for Bray. They'll call it offside, say that Nash McDonald snuck in a little bit ahead of the play. So another stoppage, another neutral zone draw coming up here with North Bay on the power play. Trappers trying to break through on the scoreboard here and find the back of the net for the first time in this game. Off the face-off, North Bay controls. Holohan for Ogletree. Ogletree over the blue line. Ogletree trying to drop it back. White in the corner. White at the blue line. White works it in. White holding, looking for an option. Maintains possession. White feeds it up top. Ogletree. Ogletree working in. Ogletree winding, shooting. That shot blocked out front, hit Aubrey Alkins near the goal. A tie-up in the corner. Alkins coming in to support. Puck is still loose. Battle for possession. Alkins comes away with it. Alkins throws it out front. Tipped just wide of the goal by Holohan. Holohan, the big defenseman, pinching and deflected that one just wide. White trying to get it towards the goal. Now Marchese has it. Marchese off the wall. Ogletree plays it. Fada's out of the penalty box. North Bay is 0 for 2 on the power play in this game. Rafael Fada has it through center. Fada down the wing. Fada centering feed. Chance down low to Mello. Denied by Stickland. Great save there from Campbell Stickland. As Toronto broke in, two defenders leading a 2-on-1 rush. Fada out of the box. Sent a pass cross ice to DeMello. And DeMello just unable to beat Stickland, who got post to post in a hurry. Face off at the North Bay end here. Gardner will take the draw for Toronto. Off the face off, won by Robichaud. A pass around the glass that hits a stanchion, comes to Carter. Carter now for Hebert. Ali Hebert over the blue line. Hebert in the corner. Hebert to Drouin. Drouin at the point. Throws it back to Hebert. Hebert around the end boards. Carter in pursuit. Comes back now to Nathan Miner. Miner sends a pass to Beauclair through center. 2-on-1 here. Kindly is in with a shot. Saved by Stickland. Another nice stop by Campbell Stickland on that chance. Ali Hebert now from her own zone. Hebert for Carter. Carter over the blue line. Carter. Pass knocked away by Lee. Lee tries to fire it off the wall out to center. It gets knocked down. Gardner facing pressure from Hebert. Robichaud in there to support as well, but Toronto comes away with possession. Kindly through center. Long pass for Beauclair. Picked back up by Parker Bray. Now puck is turned over. D'Agostini. D'Agostini fighting for possession. Comes back out of the stick of Rex Mashinter. Mashinter to the line. Gracie. Gracie sends a pass to Fada. Fada below the goal line for Beauclair. Beauclair drops it off for Fada down low. Fada, a lap of the offensive zone, sends a cross ice feed, handled there by Andrews. Andrews a shot denied by Campbell Stickland, who will hold on and get a whistle and a stoppage in play. The OHF is pleased to partner with HGG Sports Services, the exclusive accommodation services provider. HGG is committed to providing support services for athletes, teams, and communities across Ontario. Just over 2 minutes to go now in this one. 5-0 Toronto in the lead. Andrews has it in the corner. Feeds it up to the blue line. Gracie. Gracie back along the wall. Pass gets cut. Marson through center. Blocked by Zetas. Zetas comes back in. Zetas takes a shot, sailed it high. Rims around the boards. Marson looking for it. Gracie. Gracie whacks away. D'Agostini's in the corner as well. D'Agostini comes away with it, goes to Zetas. Zetas loses possession. Drouin. Drouin sends it off the boards. Marson out to neutral ice. Gracie looking for an option. Cross ice feed. Holohan closing on him as the Marlboros are forced to play it down the ice. Drouin out to center. Fada resets. Rafael Fada comes over the blue line. Fada goes into the corner. Fada a shot, sailed it high. Hits off the stanchion, comes right back to Zetas. Zetas Near boards. Zettis gets around Hill. Clugston on it now. Clugston tries to clear. Hit Hill up high. Marchese over the blue line. Hill poked it away from him. They'll say it's offside. And that the puck snuck out to center. Less than a minute to go here in this one. Toronto trying to hold on for their 4th win of the weekend. As mentioned off the top of the broadcast, they are the only team that remains undefeated. A 4-1 victory in their first 2 games, and then a closer one against Waterloo, 2-0 in their 3rd contest, that coming yesterday afternoon. Ross over the blue line. Ross rims it around the end boards. Back after it now in the corner is Marchese. Comes back out of the stick of Wolf White. White gets it out to center for North Bay. Now a little bit of pushing and shoving down near the North Bay bench. Marchese and Blanchard exchanging words. Back in come the Marlboros. Puck is played down low. Battle for possession. Blanchard comes away with it. Blanchard sends a pass to White. White has it poked off his stick. Lee sending a pass towards Beauclair. Beauclair to Ross. Ross, cross-ice feed, working in. Here's a shot from DeMello. Stickland makes the save and will hold on with 11.1 on the clock here in this 3rd period. Campbell Stickland has been tested often in this game and has been very good between the pipes for the Trappers. Stickland has appeared in all 4 games, I should say, for North Bay. Started 3 of them. Face-off, won by North Bay. After it now in the corner, it's Beauclair. Beauclair centering pass. Bouncing puck, Carter after it. Hebert with a takedown in the corner. Comes back to Ogletree, and that'll do it. So time winds down here in this 14th game of the round robin in Waterloo of the U13 AAA All-Ontario Championships. The Toronto Marlboros walk away with a 5-0 victory over the North Bay Trappers in this one. Players of the game coming up. It's back-to-back shutouts for the Marlboros, who beat Waterloo 2-0 yesterday. Take down North Bay 5-0 today. Vonderkroon gets the shutout in this one after Zito got the shutout in yesterday's contest. Player of the game for Toronto is Jonathan Beauclair. Beauclair had a goal, an assist, got on the score sheet a couple of times in today's game. He is the player of the game for the Marlboros. And Dali Hebert is the player of the game for North Bay. I believe Hebert was the player of the game yesterday as well. So a couple of player of the game packages for Ali Hebert that she will get to go home with. She is, of course, the North Bay captain. Was buzzing around creating chances again in this game, but North Bay unable to find the score sheet in this contest against Toronto as we welcome you back inside the broadcast booth here in Waterloo. A 5-0 victory for the Toronto Marlboros. They continue to be undefeated in this tournament, now moving to 4 wins and no losses through their first 4 games. We'll see if they can build off that here over the next couple of days in this championship weekend. The Marlboros really controlled from the opening puck drop, never really looked back. Goals from Kine Lee and Luke Samek in the first period. In the second, goals from Andrew Zettis and Jackson Gardner, and Jonathan Beauclair with a goal early in the third period for the Marlboros. This game had a little bit of everything, had lots of offense certainly for Toronto, had a Zamboni delay, a little ice cleaning delay after that, but we made our way through and Toronto comes away with a 5-0 victory in this one. North Bay emerges on the wrong side of it. Well, we've got another game coming up in about 20 to 30 minutes time. It will be Huron-Perth taking on Ottawa. We hope you can join us then. You're watching the U13 AAA All-Ontario Championships live from Waterloo.